Brace yourself. You're about to enter the SKOLHole, where we talk anything and everything Minnesota Vikings. Don't forget to bring a change of clothes. It might get dirty. Here are your hosts, Draft Season's own, One Bar and Lux.
All right, welcome back to another episode of SKOLHole. I'm One Bar.
I'm Lupagus.
Oh my God, you beat me to the punch.
I am the Lupagus, and we are 3 weeks away from the draft. Draft night is 3 weeks from, right about now.
3 weeks from now, I'll be shitting my pants, squeezing my potty parts, just very scared of what's about to happen.
I'll probably be at least 2 beers in, maybe have some kind of a jalapeno popper in my mouth with just butterflies flying in my belly, in my anus, and all over my skin.
Two beers in.
It's early.
Okay, agree, disagree.
It'll be early.
Yes, we got 3 weeks. We're going to throw a 7-round mock draft at you. But
yeah.
Before we get into the mock draft, we have a brand spanking new Minnesota Viking.
Technically, we have 2 new Vikings.
Well, we just signed one. Mr. Dakota Dozier.
Yeah, and I'll let you take this one away because Dakota Dozier has been somebody who you've had a crush on for a long time.
I will openly admit that I like Dakota Dozier more than anybody probably should. He was in the 2014 draft, I believe, and he's from Furman. And I love those small school big men. They come out hungry, they come out nasty, but unfortunately, Dakota Dozier, otherwise known as the Bulldozer, didn't really live up to the hype that I gave him anyways, so he was probably worth that 4th-round pick. I remember having him, I don't think it was first, I think it was 2nd-round mock.
Did you have him in the 2nd round?
I think I had him in the 2nd round. That's how much I love Dakota Dozier.
Where did you say he was from?
Furman?
Is it fur ham?
Is it?
Have you ever eaten a furry ham?
Yes.
Look
up where he's from. I maybe I biffed it.
Maybe I'm wrong.
So the Dozier, he's been with the Jets his whole career. I believe this is the first time he was free agent, and Furman, Furman.
Right.
This is just a depth move.
I just want to say
it's not like Dakota Dozier's going to come in and push for a starting spot. I do think he's actually pretty good depth. He started 7 games for the Jets over his career.
Yeah.
Depth move. I think he will make the roster. And I think it's actually pretty decent depth. Hopefully he doesn't see the field, but if he does, I think he'll do all right.
Well, isn't he still pretty young? Is he like 26 years old or something like that?
27 years old.
27. So, he's still young. And I think Rick Dennison coached him in New York. So I think there is some experience there with that new O-line coach. So that's huge. I love it. Dakota Dozier, I think he was one of the guys we maybe talked about in one of our off-season before free agency podcasts. Bring him in for some depth. Why not? Why not see what this guy can do? Maybe with some different coaching and a different scheme, just a different system all around. Maybe he reaches that potential you saw for him way back in the day. He's
cheap. He's young. And I haven't seen the details of the contract, but something tells me it's going to be pretty team friendly. So why not?
I'm sure.
The other one, we re-signed Mr. Brett Bush Jones.
Bush Jones
is
back. Another depth move. This guy can play guard or center, so he gives you some depth at 2 positions really. And there was a lot of questions why he didn't play more a season ago. I did see something about an injury that maybe wasn't really well known to a lot of people, but Brett Jones, Dakota Dozier. Now you have some depth on this line. You can argue about the quality of the depth, but at least you do have some depth there. To where a week ago at this time we pretty much had nothing. There is one thing that has kind of been, getting at me a little bit. There's some guys on Twitter going out there saying like, hey, I'm fine with our line being, Bush Jones at guard and Klein on the other. You know what? No, these are both depth moves. Klein's probably going to be a starter, but he should at least get pushed for that job. He shouldn't be handed it. Don't get me wrong. Guard is still very much on the table and should be the team's focus at pick 18.
Well, right now our starting guards, if we were to start today, our starting guards would be Josh Klein, and it would probably be Aviante Collins. And you got Isadora.
You think he would beat out Bush and he would beat out Dakota?
You got Dozier, you got Danny Isadora, and you got Bush Jones. So yes, we finally do have a little bit of depth, like you said. It might not be great, but that will be addressed in the draft. These guys will be fighting for a roster spot. come next training camp, and at least we got some pieces to play with.
No, and that's great. And I think that's one thing that we lacked last year. I don't think there was enough competition. I think it was thin. We had some injuries late in the preseason, and these guys are kind of handed these starting jobs without having to fight for it. So if you can create a culture where people are fighting for jobs, scrapping, competing, getting better every single day, because basically their job depends on it, that's huge, and that just bodes well for the Vikings all around.
All right, so welcome aboard, Bulldozer, and welcome back, Bush Jones.
Did you order your Dozier jersey yet?
Not yet.
Is he related to DJ?
No.
Oh,
It's one of the first things I looked at
I
when
was
he was coming
talking
out of
about
the draft.
I was talking about the Met, not the Viking.
Well, he's not related to him either. I wish he was. I'm going to pretend he is, but he, deep down he's not. So let's, 3 weeks. Let's get right into a 7-round Vikings mock draft.
Hell yeah!
Let's see what we got to deal with. So pick 18, lead it off.
Yeah, we did a mock here, and you know what? He was there. He was available. My number one target, I believe he's yours, Jonah Williams, tackle from Alabama. I'm guessing if the Vikings did take him, he might start at guard and then eventually become the team's right or left tackle. A lot of love about this guy. Battle tested. You got to love SEC, especially O linemen. You're going up against top competition every single week, and this guy absolutely held his own, had a great combine. This guy potentially could be the Vikings' left tackle of the future, though I think he probably starts inside at guard. But huge get here for the Vikings at 18.
Yeah, Williams gives him the opportunity to play either guard or tackle. I actually think they'd probably put him out at tackle and move Reef in, just because I think Reef is more adaptable and be able to go right to guard a little bit smoother. But either way, huge win at pick 18. Some people might think this might be a stretch that he's there, but the more you look at it, the more you see the draft is shaking out. There's actually a really good chance that Jonah Williams will be on the board at pick 18.
Yeah, you asked me, 2 weeks ago, I say it's probably a 20% chance. Now I still think it's under 50, but yeah, I do feel that there is a fairly good chance he is there, and I think we snap him up with little hesitation.
Yes, so offensive line addressed in round 1 make Viking fans very excited, including myself. Let's head over to round 2.
Round 2, pick 50. You are up.
Round 2, we will be addressing the wide receiver. We'll be taking Kelvin Harmon from NC State, 6'2", 221. Not the fastest guy, but he's got some beef to him. He's got good hands. Would be tossed right in with Diggs and Thielen and give the Vikings receiving duo one more head.
Yeah, you said it, hands. And that's one thing that our wide receiver 3 right now does not have is hands. Harmon, he can snatch that ball, big, powerful, go up. He can get the ball while he's covered. One thing he wasn't asked to do a lot at NC State was run complex routes, and that's fine. We don't need him to do that. We need him to go down the field, jump up, get the football, fight for it. We have guys who can run routes in Thielen and Diggs, and he can learn, complex routes down the line. I just want this guy to go up, get the jump ball, and make life a little bit easier for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, he's got great hands. He can make those contested catches, use that big body.
And this guy's got some swag to him too. He's a cocky competitor out there. I love that in a receiver. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, as long as he can catch the ball, I'm sold. So, again, Harmon would be, I think he will be on the board round 2. There's going to be receivers like Deebo Samuel, Kelvin Harmon.
It's going to be tough.
Some of these guys, one of them are going to slide, and it's going to be very hard for the Vikings to pass on these talented guys in round 2. So we went Harmon here. Let's go to round 3.
Round 3, we're taking tight end Jay Sternberger from Texas A&M.
Woo!
This is a hot name lately, and who knows if he'll be there in round 3 or not. You never know, but this guy's getting a ton of love lately, and it's for good reason. Great pass catcher. He's a great weapon in an offense. He can create mismatches over the middle of the field. I don't think there's a linebacker who can cover this dude. Jay Sternberger would be huge for the Vikings in round 3, especially when you look at Kyle Rudolph. Next year he's a free agent. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah. So we haven't extended him at this point. We haven't restructured him or anything. So and then we only really have, I think it's Konkadonk really signed after that. So tight end is going to become a need for the Vikings down the road. You can get a guy like Jay Sternberger in this year's draft. That would be huge in round 3.
Well, the reason the Vikings are going to look at tight end very seriously this year, opposed to waiting until Rudolph is gonzo, is this draft class for tight ends is so stacked. Sternberger, easily, his strengths are catching the ball. He's not going to wow you blocking. He is straight up a pass catching tight end. Very athletic. Almost just he's got the body. He plays like a receiver. He just got the body of a tight end. So he could come in for a lot of other teams and be their number one tight end. But we could take him round 3, be gradual. Why not learn from one of the best in the NFL, Kyle Rudolph?
I think it's David Morgan.
He could take over the reins easily after a full year, and I could see him making a pretty big impact as a rookie.
How long do you think it would take for the U.S. Bank Stadium restaurant to create the Sternberger?
I don't know. Depends on if he catch some damn touchdowns. But Sternberger, the Vikings have already showed interest. He's I don't know if he already came in for a visit or he's going to, but that is definitely lined up. So, round 3 there's a good chance he could be there, but round 2 it would be a good chance he could take it. So I say 50-50 he's still on the board.
Yeah, you never know. A lot of times these hot names go a little bit later than everybody's saying as it gets closer to the draft. So you just never know what happens to the NFL draft, and that's why everybody watches, because guys fall, guys go off early. You just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. So first 3 rounds, Vikings go offense. Round 4, they're switching things up, but they're taking another Aggie, back-to-back Aggies. They're going interior defensive tackle Dalen Mack.
My boy, this guy's like 6'1", 300 and 36 pounds. He's just a bowling ball out there. And I know you look at him, you look at his body type, you think nose, but this guy can actually cause a lot of disruption. He's quick off the ball. You put him into 3 technique, I think he could really do well there. Just let him just create ruckus in the interior of the offense, disrupt timing, get after the quarterback, get in the backfield. Mack is quick as hell. The problem is he has taken some plays off, and teams don't like that. But I think you got Mike Zimmer coaching this guy. I don't think he would dare take a play off.
Yeah, and it's round 4, so talented guys like this are going to start falling. He is I could see him playing either one of the defensive tackles, adds depth to the defensive line, something that you can never have too much of.
Yeah, I mean, this guy could he could eventually be a nose 2. He could be a 3 technique. He can do both. I love Dalen Mack. He's one of my favorite players in this draft, so I'd be all for this pick. Moving on, round 6. We don't have a 5th round pick. We have 2 round 6. In this mock, this guy was there, and I love this guy, Jalen Jelks. To me, he's kind of a poor man's Anthony Barr. He doesn't have the athletic ability, but he's kind of that, if he was in a 3-4, he'd probably be an outside pass rusher. But he could play more of that hybrid role, maybe just be Barr's backup, or maybe Zimmer gets creative and he goes kind of that hybrid type on both sides of his linebackers, has Barr on one side, Jelks on the other down the road. I do like this guy. He can rush the passer. He can stop the run. Again, I don't think he's the athlete nearly that Anthony Barr is, but there's a lot to like about Jalen Jelks, and you get this guy in round 6. And again, you wouldn't have to start him early. You could bring him along slowly, let him develop. But I'm a big Jalen Jelks guy.
Yeah, the thing I like about Jalen Jelks is it seems like he's kind of played all over the place. Not only an outside linebacker, he's been on the line, had his hand in the dirt. Like I said, he's very, very athletic. This is a guy round 6 where you kind of take a waiver on him, where I think Zimmer could just have fun with him.
Oh, absolutely.
He could try to put him in different spots and see where he works out. But yeah, very athletic. Could see him getting his hands on the quarterback. He'd be a fun guy to watch.
Oh, yeah, he'd be a great guy to watch. And like you said, Mike Zimmer's can get the most out of a guy like this. So this is pretty much just a toy for Zim, and I think he would have a lot of fun with Jelks.
Yes. Who do we got next?
We got big need for the Vikings, and we find a real this is a great value here in round 6. Devine Ozigbo, running back, Nebraska. Vikings have shown interest in him. I think he has met with the Vikings. Thick lower body here on this guy. He can run the ball. He can catch. Really do it all. Good explosion. Good vision. Good patience. With the Vikings, the lead back right now is Delvin Cook. The one thing about Delvin Cook is never healthy. So running back is going to be a big need for the Vikings in this draft. Ozigbo is a guy, he doesn't actually have a lot of tread on the tires. He was used kind of in a dual role in Nebraska. So there's a lot of football left on this guy. A lot of miles left to put on him. I think this guy can eventually be a workhorse back in the NFL. And Yeah, get this guy in round 6. That's huge value. He's immediately your number 2 back. And if Cook were ever to go down, I would feel completely fine with those Zigbo stepping in and taking over.
Yeah, I'd be perfectly fine. As much of a need it is for the Vikings, waiting until round 6, round 7, because we all know how those running backs slide. This is a great example of it. He's a guy that come in and instantly be your number 2 and step in if something happens. He's kind of, like you said, he's a bowling ball, but he plays better than a bowling ball. I mean, he can catch the ball. He's quicker than people think. He's fun. He's fun to watch, and I love everything about this pick.
Yeah, another thing too. This running back class, it is not top heavy, but it is pretty deep throughout the middle. So a guy like Ozigbo could definitely slide. It all depends just when that first domino falls. With Josh Jacobs, is he going to be a first rounder? Will he go into round 2? If he does end up going late round 1, early round 2, then I think a guy like Ozigbo could slide all the way down to round 6, which would be huge for the Vikings.
All right, well, let's enter round 7.
Wait, before you enter round 7, why don't you enter me? Zip.
Next. Round 7.
You reminded me of a guy who once told a woman he was not interested.
Yeah, it was uninterested.
Uninterested.
We're dipping back. We're double dipping. Wide receiver. We're going little Jordan Humphrey. Did not have a fantastic combine.
That's putting it nicely.
I completely expect Humphrey to be a round 6, round 7, or possibly even undrafted. But he definitely has the tools. He's got everything you want in a receiver. I'm giving him a pass in the combine, just what he's done on the field at Texas. This is absolutely a boomer bust type of pick. This could backfire immediately, and he doesn't even make the team. But if they can get the right guys around him, get him squared away, I think it could be a fantastic gem. I said it, a fantastic gem.
Jim, that was a great cartoon back in the day.
Never heard of it. I heard of the Snorks. Snorks was awesome.
Snorks was a snorkel ball they played. Well, Lil Jordan, you gave him a pass on the combine. This is coming up, and you'd think you would prepare for it, and maybe he's just not fast or just not a great athlete.
He is fast, so that's the thing.
Yeah, so that's what's more troubling to me, and that's why I can't give him a pass on the combine, and that's why you get him in round 7, because he's got some issues, maybe some motivation issues, but that's the biggest opportunity of your life, and you're not fully prepared for it. Very disappointing. But like you said, he showed he can do it at Texas. That's Big 12. That's good competition. This guy's got great size. He's 6'3", 6'4". I mean, he's a big boy, even though he's named Lil Jordan. This is the kind of guy you take a flyer on at round 7. A guy with plenty of upside. A guy who is boomer bust. Because you know what? If he booms, great.
Boom, boom, boom,
it's
boom.
Huge.
Boom,
if
boom.
he busts, big deal. It's a round 7 pick.
Exactly. It's round 7. You go with the boom.
Yep.
Let's hope we get a boom.
The boomstick.
The boomstick. So little Jordan Humphrey, we get 2 receivers. They're kind of, they both got the big bodies.
That's what I want.
One of them's gonna pan out. They gotta.
They will. Round 7, last pick. Vikings. Pick 250. I'm going with O-tackle Trey Pipkins from Sioux Falls.
Oh, you mean Pipsky?
I do mean Pipsky. This guy, his grandpa was Soda Popinski from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
That's not accurate, but Trey Pipkins, he is a big boy. What is he? 6'6", 309. He's got project written all over him. Again, this is a 7th round. This is what you expect. But he's got enough tools where, given a year or two, I could see him playing, spending a year on the practice squad, and then maybe next year coming back and fighting for a spot. But he's got the talent to play in the NFL, no doubt.
Where is he from? He's from Minnesota. I can't remember where.
Sioux Falls.
Yeah.
He's from Apple Valley.
Yeah,
He played
Apple
at Sioux
Valley.
Falls.
One thing with Pipkins, this guy, you get him, you get him in the weight room. He lacks strength. He needs to hit the weights, get stronger. He's for a big man. He actually has great athletic ability. He's nimble on his feet. He can move. But yeah, you want him to hit the weights and then just kind of acclimate him to the NFL game. He played at Sioux Falls, so the level of competition, it's kind of like me and one bar line up against him. It's not that much greater. So
no, that's not nice.
Well,
that's not accurate.
Well, not to me. I mean, I would probably get around him. But yeah, I mean, you bring him in slowly. You develop this guy. You probably practice squad him his first year, but there's plenty to like about Trey Pipkins. And yeah, he's just one of those guys you take late and then you slowly work and maybe you you get rewarded for it down the road.
Well, and everything you read about this guy, he's got high character. He's extremely smart when it comes to football. So that's what you want, and he's got the body to go with it. So, give him some coaching, give him some time, and he could be a guy that, worst case scenario, adds some great depth along the line.
And get him in that goddamn weight room.
Yeah, you want him in the weight room so bad.
I do. He's got some floppy-ass breasts. Let's recap this bad boy.
All right, let's run her down. We got Jonah Williams in round 1, offensive tackle. We got Kelvin Harmon, wide receiver, NC State baby. Jay Sternberger, tight end, Texas A&M. And then we start looking at the defensive side of the ball. Dalen Mack, big boy in the middle. Jalen Jenks, Divine.
Jelks.
Not Jenks.
You're thinking of Jeremy Jenkins.
Jeremy Jenkins, I apologize. And then we
crossing
go
guard.
running back. Divine Ozigbo.
Yep.
And then it starts to get a little dicey with little Jordan Humphrey taking a big chance there. And then Trey Pipkins, offensive tackle. So overall, you cannot complain about, especially those first 3 picks are huge.
I got to be honest. If this was our draft, I would shit my pants with excitement.
Well,
this would be the way I felt about the 2007 draft when we not only got Adrian Peterson, but we got like Marcus McCauley and Rufus Alexander, Andre Allison. I mean, we got Sidney Rice. We got so many guys that year. This is the way I feel about the draft we just did here. A lot of guys I love, and hopefully they pan out better than the overall 2007 draft did.
Yes, well, regardless of how it shakes out, we're going to get some guys that we love and maybe a guy or two that we don't like. An example would be Ben Gideon a couple years ago when you wanted to just eat your own ass.
How many times when they take that guy you don't like, that ends up being one of the better players?
All the time.
Yeah, I know.
All the time.
I know. All right, so guys, we said it before, 3 weeks till the draft. So this is very important. The draft's going to be here before you know it. So now you got to start thinking. You got to plan that draft day viewing party. Don't step on your dick. Don't wait. It's time to sit down with Sonny Weaver Jr. and see what he's going to do with that damn pick. Plan your party. Draft's going to be here before you know it. You got to do it. Easter's the weekend before the draft. Call your friends. Get that viewing party scheduled.